Hey everyone, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
All right, so today we're going to dive into some really cool stuff that I think is going to be super applicable to everybody listening.
Absolutely.
Um, and we've talked a lot about staying calm under pressure, but like we wanted to really do a deep dive.
Yeah, totally.
And we found this really cool material. It's like this, almost like this 5-minute podcast script, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
That just goes through like these 3 powerful techniques that a lot of like top leaders and athletes and even Navy SEALs use.
Right, and I think it's so relevant because everyone has those moments where they feel that panic or that anxiety coming on, and it's like, what do you do?
Totally. And like the material gives this great example of like, picture yourself in a really important meeting and somebody asks you this question.
Oh, yeah.
That you're totally not prepared for. And like,
You just freeze up.
yeah, you just totally freeze up and your heart's pounding and you can't think straight.
And then you start sweating.
Yeah, exactly.
It all goes downhill from there. Yeah, so like that's the situation we're in. And like these 3 techniques that we're going to talk about today are like the tools to like get you out of that to become like unshakable.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's jump into the first one.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so the first one's all about breath.
Okay.
And like, it might seem kind of basic, but like the source material we're looking at uses this really cool example of an F1 driver.
Oh, wow.
So like, imagine, right? You're going 200 miles an hour.
Insane.
Yeah, you're in this like super intense race and like something goes wrong.
Oh my God.
If you panic in that moment,
That's it.
you're done.
You're done. Yeah.
So these drivers, they're like meticulously trained in how to control their breath.
So it's like the opposite of what you would think.
Totally.
Like your instinct is to like tense up,
Yeah, you hold your breath.
hold your breath,
Mhm.
but they're trained to do the opposite.
Yeah, because when we panic, what happens is we start taking these like short, shallow breaths.
Right.
And that actually signals to our brain that we're in danger.
Like a threat response.
Exactly. And then that just like ramps up the stress response even more.
Makes it worse.
Yeah. So the key here is to like intentionally control your breath to like tell your brain,
We're good.
yeah, we got this.
Yeah.
So this specific technique that they recommend is called box breathing.
Okay, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
I have. Yeah. It's actually really helpful.
Yeah, so it's like super simple. It's just like a 4-part cycle.
Okay.
So you inhale for 4 seconds,
Okay.
hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold again for 4 seconds.
And you just keep cycling through that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like what's really cool about this is that you can do it anywhere.
Yeah, you don't need anything.
Like literally anywhere.
It's free.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like next time you're about to give a presentation or you're walking into an exam.
Or even just like a tough conversation.
Yeah, like anything that's making you feel anxious, just take a minute and do like 3 rounds of this box breathing.
It's like a reset.
Totally. It's like
Mm.
hitting the reset button on your nervous system. Right. It's not about getting rid of the anxiety completely.
Yeah, it's not going to magically disappear.
Yeah, it's about like managing it so that you can still think clearly.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like turning down the volume on the panic so you can still function.
I love that analogy.
Okay. So that was technique number 1, box breathing.
Breath work.
All right. Let's move on to technique number 2.
You can number 2.
This one is all about pausing before you react.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So like think about it. How often do we just like immediately react to something emotionally?
All the time. Yeah.
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 And it's usually not the best response.
Definitely not.
So the material we're looking at, it uses this example of like a football player in the last few minutes of a game.
Okay.
And like the other team just scored and like they're feeling all this pressure and frustration.
Right.
But if they let those emotions take over,
Yeah.
they're probably going to make a mistake.
You're going to mess up.
Yeah. And that could cost them the game.
Right. Yeah, it's about staying level-headed.
Exactly. And that's what this technique is all about.
So how do you do that?
So basically, it's just about like creating a little space between the thing that triggers you and your reaction. So like, let's say someone cuts you off in traffic or
Yeah.
you get like a really annoying email.
Yeah.
Like your instinct is to just like,
React.
yeah, like snap back or like fire off an angry response.
Road rage.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're saying just like take a second.
Yeah, just pause for like 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Yeah, and that's like all it takes to let your prefrontal cortex catch up.
What's the prefrontal cortex?
So that's like the part of your brain that's responsible for like rational thought and decision making.
Oh, okay. So it's like the logical part of your
Yeah,
brain.
exactly.
That makes sense.
So like when you pause, it gives that part of your brain a chance to like override that initial emotional response.
So you're not just reacting from your emotions.
Exactly.
You're thinking it through.
Yeah. So like try it today. Like next time something annoys you, just like consciously pause for 5 seconds before you do anything.
I like that.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah, it's super simple, but it can really make a difference.
It's like creating that space.
Totally. It's like giving yourself a chance to choose your response instead of just reacting.
I think that's something I need to work on because I definitely just react sometimes.
Yeah, me too. It's like a constant practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got breath work and we've got pausing.
Okay. 2 down.
Let's move on to the third and final technique.
All right. Bring it on.
This one's all about focusing on what you can control.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so like this source material tells this really great story about this guy who lost his job unexpectedly.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, it was like a really difficult situation for him.
Of course.
But like instead of dwelling on the things he couldn't control, like the fact that he lost his job, he decided to focus on what he could control.
Okay.
So he like updated his resume, he started networking, he like really put himself out there.
So he took action.
Exactly. And you know what? He ended up getting an even better job.
Wow. So it worked out for the best. Yeah. And it's because he shifted his focus from like what was outside of his control to what was within his control.
That's a really powerful mindset shift.
Yeah. Because like a lot of the time we get stressed out about things that we have absolutely no power over.
Yeah, like things we can't change.
Exactly. Like we worry about what other people think or what's happening in the world or even like past mistakes that we can't go back and fix.
Right, it's like we're trying to control the uncontrollable.
Exactly. And that just creates so much unnecessary stress.
So this technique is about like accepting what you can't control.
Yeah. And then focusing all your energy on the things you can control.
Okay, so how do you actually do that?
So they recommend this like 2-part action step.
Okay.
The first part is to just write down 3 things that are stressing you out right now.
Okay, just like get it out of your head.
Yeah, exactly. Like put it on paper.
Right, and then what?
And then the second part is to like look at that list and categorize each item into one of 2 columns.
Okay.
What I can control and what I cannot control.
So you're like separating them out.
Exactly. And then the most important part is to like take action on the things that are in the what I can control column.
Okay, so it's not just about making a list, it's about actually doing something.
Yeah, like don't just let it sit there. Like pick one thing from that column and do something about it today.
Even if it's just like a small step.
Yeah, even if it's just like a tiny little step, it's still progress.
That makes sense.
And like I know sometimes that what I can't control column can feel really long.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But even in those situations, you can still control how you respond to them.
Oh, that's true.
Which like brings us back to the first 2 techniques.
Full circle.
Yeah, like you can control your breath. You can choose to pause before you react.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Exactly. All right, so to kind of sum all this up,
Yes.
the main takeaway here is that calm is not something you're just born with.
It's a skill,
Yeah, it's like a superpower that you can develop through practice.
like a muscle.
Exactly. And these 3 techniques are like your training tools.
Okay, I like that analogy.
So to recap,
Maybe with it.
number 1, control your breath.
Okay, got it.
Number 2, pause before you react.
Okay, I'm going to work on that one.
Yeah. And number 3, focus on what you can control.
All right, I'm going to make my list.
Yes. Yeah.
3 things.
Yeah. And like actually take action on at least one of those things today.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, right. I love it.
I'm feeling calmer already.
Me too. And I'm really curious, like, what are some situations where you've struggled to stay calm in the past?
Oh man, so many.
And like looking back now, do you think any of these techniques could have helped?
I think so, yeah. I mean, there was this one time I was giving a presentation to like a really important client,
Okay.
and I totally blanked on like the key talking points.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was like my mind just went blank and I could feel myself starting to panic.
What did you do?
I kind of just like stumbled through it, and it was not my best performance.
Oh, man, that's tough.
Yeah, but like thinking about it now, if I had just taken a few seconds to like pause and breathe, I probably could have collected myself and like salvaged the situation.
Totally.
So yeah, I think those techniques could have definitely helped.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example of how like even just one of these techniques can make a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure.
So as we wrap up here, I want to leave you with this thought.
Yeah.
Like next time you're in a challenging situation, pay attention not only to what's happening around you,
The external stuff.
yeah, but also to what's happening inside of you.
Like my thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. Like notice your physical sensations, your impulses, where your mind is going.
Okay.
And that awareness, that's like the first step to taking control.
And staying calm.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's it for today.
Thanks for the deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
This was really helpful.
Yeah, I feel more equipped to handle whatever comes my way now.
Me too.
All right, until next time.
See ya.
Bye.